I said I want to marry you, Amy Ray Wintry. Amy blinked as if lost in a dark cave. All eyes focused on Shane and Amy. She covered her gaped mouth, staring past Shane. With a grimace, Shane glanced over his shoulder and back at her. I was gonna say yes. Sheesh. What is she looking at? I wasn't talking to you. She stared away again. Ground rules. Hush up. I can do this without your help. Who the hell was Amy talking to? He turned her head, forcing her to look at him. Just say yes.
Somebody get my coffee, damn it.
Robert scoffed and tugged at his tattered overalls. Good God, gate your hens, Mr. Campbell. Amy tightened her grip on Shane's hand. Oh my gosh, I sneezed 3 times this morning. You did what? Amy straddled his lap and threw her arms around his neck. I love you. Then say yes. Why the hell not? Amy's lips curled into a devious smirk. I mean, yes. Carmen dropped the dirty dishes into a tub, then ran toward Amy, arms open wide. Amy slid from Shane's lap and met Carmen halfway. They embraced. Congrats, Mommy. Roxy poked her head from the kitchen.
Well, it's about damn time, Baker. Thought you were gonna wait till the gal was an old maid before you married her.
Roxy straightened the hairnet covering her grayed bun.
Congrats, you crazy kids. But y'all better get back to work, for the place gets backed up more than my brother was last Thanksgiving.
Amy wiped tears from her face. Yes, Miss Roxy. She grabbed a pitcher of iced tea and refilled Mr. Campbell's coffee mug. Mr. Campbell scowled at his mug of iced tea. Shane grabbed Amy by the hand and dragged her outside. Back of the restaurant. Why now? I mean, we've been together 5 years, and you not once brought up marriage. I always figured we'd just... That because of his bad boy womanizing reputation, she figured she'd be living in sin for the better part of her life. Better yet, maybe she thought he'd eventually dump her and move on to his next conquest. Did she really not know how he felt about her? Shane gave her a sidelong look. You figured what? Nothing. He stepped back, unclasping their hands. There was an accident on the rig. Kevin was killed. I didn't know him that well, but his wife was 8 months pregnant with their first child. It got me thinking. I knew something was up. I heard a dog howl 3 times last night. Her eyes narrowed. So you proposed because your friend died? She crossed her arms over her chest and glared at him. I've waited to hear you ask that question since damn near puberty. I ask you why now, and all you got is I got to thinking? God knows you're no Shakespeare, but you gotta give me something better. Amy sighed, looking at the sky. Ground rules, remember? What ground rules? Never mind. Well, who the hell were you talking to? I could tell you, but you wouldn't like the answer. He held her at arm's length and looked her up and down. What are you looking at? I was picturing you in a straitjacket. If we had some lace, it'd make an eccentric wedding gown. Amy socked him in the chest. That's not funny. Get your skinny ass back in here before Roxy comes out here with the frying pan. I love debating the finer points of hot dog relish versus regular relish. Amy paused, her back to him. I love that you put garlic in your hot tea every morning. Amy turned around, a blank expression on her face. I love you. She shook her head. More tears fell. What the hell is wrong with you? I gotta go. Atticus placed Roarn's journal and the wilted rose on a shelf. He checked his email, where he discovered a message from Elder Kai.
The vast woodlands called Sacred Oaks is believed to be a pathway for the righteous and evil to pass unto this dimension from the infinite universes spread throughout the spectrum of space and time. All of these myriad galaxies form the multiverse that consist of every possible alternate reality and course of time. According to the recorded Mexican Texas history, a cult opened the portal in the 1830s. The leader, Joseph Rollins, an eccentric bookseller and self-proclaimed scholar, established the Ministries of Ignonid, a secret society and organization dedicated to the enlightening of life, the human condition, and focused on alternatives outside traditional Christian rhetoric. He obsessed with finding a way to travel through space and time and into other worlds and dimensions. Joseph orchestrated multiple occult rituals in attempt to control the randomization of the cosmic elements in order to manipulate his destiny and fate in the universe. Through the assistance of other cult members, he conducted strange and esoteric ceremonies. On November 11th, 1833, there was an orgy of debauchery ending in a mass cult suicide. His 15-year-old daughter, Sarah Rollins' body was discovered raped and drowned in the pond near the house. Joseph was never found. On November 13th, 1833, a tear in the universe's rift opened an astral gateway beneath what is nowadays referred to as Sarah's Pond. This gate links time, space, and alternate planes, allowing the transit of cosmic entities to pass to and from the portal. Act with caution, Atticus.
The dinner bell. Atticus descended the stairs, intending to eat quickly, then, with or without the order's permission, head for Sacred Oaks. As he reached the bottom, Atticus saw Trish speaking to a young woman. The woman's black shorts stopped high on her thighs, revealing her shapely legs. Rings of gold, large enough to double as bracelets, hung from her ears. Hair, shiny as silk and dark as a crow's feather, poured over her shoulders. Bloody locusts! She was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. How much do I owe you? Roxy said you've got credit. Atticus felt his groin swell. In horror, he glanced at his green leather pants, tight against his obvious arousal. He cupped his hands over himself, unable to peel his eyes from the prominent breast peeking from under her white t-shirt. When her eyes met his, He feigned interest at the "Wanted, Roarin' Roxy" poster. "Roxy's a sweetheart. I've not had credit in weeks." Atticus wiped his brow, scanning the lobby and nearby dining room. People talked and went about their business as if this almost naked woman was not lingering in their presence. He felt his face warm with heat and pulled at the collar of his tunic. "You won't believe what just happened." The beauty grinned. "Shane just popped the question." The raven-haired lady sipped from a styrofoam cup. When she swallowed, Atticus's erection twitched. With the back of his hand, he wiped sweat from his forehead. "Get out of town. That's great. I'm happy for Shane and Amy both. I mean, did she accept?" "Of course." "Adios, Trish." "Bye, Carmen." "Holy rattlers," Atticus inhaled. A combination of sweet and salty aromas made him growl. He hadn't been this hungry since losing his way in the Gilded Safari Retreat 4 years ago. He eyed the dining room. With plates and silver in their grips, a crowd had gathered. Shaking his head, he stomped back up the stairs, cursing his traitorous hormones. Food could wait. Amy turned the radio up.
"Strange news out of the woods again, folks. Local wildlife and fishery discovered the bodies of 2 men in the western region of Sacred Oaks this morning. The most bizarre part of this story? Y'all brace yourselves for this one now. Cause of death: hypothermia. That's right, y'all. They froze to death in Texas. As an FYI, yesterday's heat index was 131.
"That defies any logic whatsoever," Scooter said.
The bodies have been identified as Chris DeWalt and his younger cousin Jacob DeWalt.
Oh my God.
"I take it by your reaction that you knew the recently deceased?"
Yes, sort of.
"But it doesn't matter. He wasn't a friend." "Was he an enemy?" "I don't have enemies." Amy gave Scooter a sidelong glance and noticed a fresh scratch down the side of his cheek.
What happened to you?"
"Nothing."
"Is someone giving you problems again at school?"
"I said nothing happened." "Well, your brother made it in today." "Great. Thanks for the heads up. Will you drop me off at Zach's house?" Shane wouldn't be happy about Scooter getting his butt whooped again, and she wasn't going to force the poor guy to listen to one of Shane's hot-headed lectures about standing up for himself and being a man. Not again. After she dropped Scooter off at Zach's house, a wave of emotion washed over her. Tears filled her eyes. Silently, she scolded herself for being so damn emotional. Was it from the heavy night of drinking? Had the news of Chris's bizarre death brought out the emotions in Waterworks? Something was off. Something new and strange and not quite right was festering inside of her. She had just gotten engaged to the only man she'd ever loved. Why wasn't she ecstatic? She thought back to Shane's proposal and the smirk on his face as he teased her about getting married in a straitjacket lined with lace. Wishing she could do it all over again, she'd hit him much harder. In the face. No. The family jewels.
What affects you?
You killed Chris, didn't you?
The insect dared to touch the beloved, and the blasphemy cost the price of its life.
Chris wasn't an it. He was a person, not an insect. How could life be so petty to you?
My motives are none of your concern, female.
Stop calling me that. Man.
I am no man.
Damn it. Go away. I need space.
Your tone is a great insult to me. You will marry the one you call Shane.
You're breaking free. You're floating dreams. I'll throw some flowers on your stone. We both know that I was wrong. We both know I'm not like that anymore.
It is his feats that are critical in the saving of worlds. If you do not, then the course of time will forever be altered, and all universes will be enslaved by the king and queen of beasts and the empress. Nothing more will mortal kind be than food, labor, and playthings. All your modern civilizations will crumble. Your mass weapons be reduced to the lethality of sticks and stones, and within a century, all mortal kind will be extinct.
I really wish you were a figment of my wild imagination. I'd rather have just dealt with the pissed off rat spirit than listen to your ravings of the end of all universes.
I will depart and give you this space which you speak of.
I do love him.
This I have known.